Hello, Super Saver. I hope you're healthy and well this week. So, do you know where your state ranks in terms of identity theft, fraud, and other reports? Well, you're about to find out if you live in these 5 states, because that's what this table shows. These are the top 5 states that our clients and Super Saver community reside in. This column shows each state's ranking for identity theft reports per 100,000 of population. And this column shows each state's ranking for fraud and other reports per 100,000 of population. Note that number 1 is the worst ranking in this table. So Illinois at number 3 has more identity theft reports per 100,000 of population than California at number 19. According to the Federal Trade Commission, identity theft reports are from people who said their information was misused to apply for a government document or benefit, such as unemployment insurance. Whereas fraud and other reports are more general imposter scams, which include, for example, romance scams, people falsely claiming to be the government, a relative in distress, a well-known business, or a technical support expert to get a consumer's money. And winner, winner, chicken dinner for Georgia, or maybe it's winner, winner, identity fraud dinner, because unfortunately, Georgia ranks first when it comes to fraud and other reports, and 5th when it comes to identity theft reports. Maybe I should have added Georgia to my table, but at least now you know. I've linked this Federal Trade Commission report in the description below for those of you who are interested in learning more and in finding out what the identity theft, fraud, and other report numbers look like for your state. So, on that note, we're wrapping up our 3-part series on how to reduce your chances of becoming a victim of identity theft and or other types of fraud. Specifically, I'll be walking you through how to freeze and unfreeze your credit step by step with TransUnion, because freezing your credit helps prevent scammers from posing as you and falsely opening accounts in your name. And if you haven't seen our videos yet on how to freeze and unfreeze your credit with Equifax and Experian, I've linked those for you in the description below as well, because you do need to freeze your credit separately with each of the 3 major credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. It took me about 30 minutes to do this with all 3 credit bureaus online for me and my husband. Worth it in my mind for the security and peace of mind we get from knowing that the bad characters who are out there trying to commit fraud with our personal information won't be successful. On that note, let's jump right in, Super Saver, and protect your personal information. The very first step is to go to TransUnion's credit freeze page here. I've included the link to this page in the description below. I'm going to click on Add a Freeze, and this screen will appear next. If you already have a TransUnion account, you can just enter your details here and click on Login. I'm assuming you don't if you're watching this though, so I'll click on Create Account. And on the page that pops up next in step 1, I'll have to tell TransUnion about myself. I'll enter my name here. Then I'll scroll down and enter my home address and confirm whether or not I've lived here for more than 6 months. Here, I'll enter my email and mobile number. I'll scroll down further now and enter my date of birth and the last 4 digits of my social security number. I'll read through everything as usual. And I'll select no here because, as tempting as it sounds, I don't want any of these marketing mails from TransUnion and their trusted partners. Then I'll click on I accept and continue to step 2. And in step 2 of the next screen, I'll create my TransUnion account. Here, I'll enter my desired username. Then I'll scroll down, create a password, confirm it, select a secret question, and enter my secret answer. And after I read through all this good stuff here, and I am in agreement with it, I'll click on I accept and continue to step 3. In step 3 of the next screen, I'll verify my identity, which in a nutshell entails requesting a one-time passcode, which will be sent to the phone number that I entered in step 1. I'll make sure to read through the details here. I'll scroll down now and choose to receive my passcode either via text message or a phone call. And then I'll hit agree and send passcode. And on the screen that appears afterwards, I'll have to enter here the passcode that TransUnion just sent me. Then I'll click on verify my identity. And this is the page that shows up once everything is verified. I'll hit continue. And I'll be taken to this screen, which shows me that my TransUnion credit report does not have a credit freeze in place. So I'll click on add freeze. And the next screen will explain to me further what freezing my credit report with TransUnion entails. I'll read through everything as usual. Then I'll scroll down to enter my PIN. Keep in mind that this PIN must be 6 digits long. Then I'll reconfirm my PIN here and hit continue. And voila! Here's my confirmation that a freeze is now in place on my TransUnion credit report. So let's fast forward into the future a bit and say that I need to apply for a new credit card or loan. Before I do this, I'll need to log into my TransUnion account to unfreeze my credit. And keep in mind, if I also froze my credit with Equifax and Experian, I'll need to unfreeze my credit with them as well before proceeding with my credit card or loan application. So first, let's go to the TransUnion website. Then I'll click on Member Login up here. And this is the page that will appear. I'll click on Login under Service Center. And here I'll enter my username and password and click on Login. From this retrieving your information box that appears, I'll click on Continue. And my TransUnion summary screen will pop up next. I'll select Credit Freeze. And I can see from the screen that appears next that my TransUnion credit report is frozen. I can choose to remove the freeze completely, or I can temporarily lift the freeze so that it's available to potential lenders or creditors. I'll select temporarily lift freeze because that's what I would most likely do in real life. And on the next screen that appears, I'll read through all this information here on how a temporary lift works and when it's in effect. Then I'll scroll down and put in the dates here that I want my TransUnion credit freeze to be temporarily lifted. I'll just enter March 10th, 2023 to March 31st, 2023 as an example and hit continue. And here's the confirmation page that appears next, telling me that I have temporarily lifted my credit freeze during this time period. I can now apply for my new credit card or loan during this temporary credit freeze period, assuming I've also unfrozen my Equifax and Experian credit reports. And when I'm ready to refreeze my credit again, I'll simply log back into my TransUnion account to get to the summary screen and select credit freeze again. Or I can just wait until my TransUnion account refreezes automatically at the end of the unfreeze period that I entered previously. In our example, I unfroze my credit from March 10th to March 31st. So on March 31st, TransUnion will automatically refreeze my credit again. Now, that was TransUnion and how to freeze and unfreeze your credit with them. Check out this playlist here if you want to see how to do this step by step with Equifax and Experian, or if you want to learn more about the differences between a credit freeze, credit lock, and fraud alert, because there are certain instances when a fraud alert may be preferable over a credit freeze. All right, Super Saver, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. And if you did, don't forget to share it with those you care about. And of course, hit that thumbs up and see you again very soon with another brand new wealth building video.